Hello everyone and welcome to Ashley Plans and Saves. I'm Ashley and today I'm going to share with you a 3-month check-in for my sinking funds that I just started in 2019. So this is the first time I've ever considered doing something like a sinking fund. Typically I just had my PNC growth savings where all my money was put into as like a general savings fund. Um, but I would dip into it frequently and I didn't have like a goal in mind for it. So in 2019, I decided to be a little bit more, I guess, just be more specific with what I'm saving for, how much I'm saving for each particular category, so I can better track, what I'm spending and keep aside, an actual savings fund where I'm trying to grow it over the course of a few years. So I did add a couple more items to the sinking fund tracker since I believe I showed it in January, but I could be wrong. So let's just jump from the top. So of course I have my title here. Here I list the sinking funds and how much I'm budgeting to contribute towards it, but that number can change obviously. This is the beginning balance starting before January. For the most part it's zero except for my emergency fund, which was anything that was in my savings account at that point. And then I have each of the months listed here, and then finally the current balance as it is right now. In this line, I have any debits or notes that I want to keep about, what I'm taking money out for. So in January, I had debits for clothing. I bought a birthday present for my friend. I got a Via, which is like a Lyft or an Uber. Nothing happened in February. I don't anticipate anything coming out of this budget in March, but probably in April you'll see some deductions there. Down here, I had things color coded because I have these sinking funds in only these 4 accounts. So since there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different funds spread out over 4 accounts, I wanted to keep track of what money is in which account and then how much is in that account total. And then I just have a total tracker of how much I have in savings, not including my emergency fund because I just want to consider that money I barely see, right? So here in the light orange, I have my fun money short-term sinking fund that is alongside my Lyft/Uber sinking fund. Both of those are in my PNC reserve, so they're readily accessible. I can transfer it and it'll show up in my checking account immediately. So this is money I like to have on hand for the quick Uber trip that I make, as opposed to having to wait 3 or 4 days for the money to transfer from Ally into my PNC so I can pay off whatever I charge to my credit card for those funds. Likewise, my short-term fund money sinking fund is just $160 at this point, and that is something I'll transfer into my checking account, $40 every month. And then once that's depleted, I'll go down to my long-term fund money sinking fund. Just so I don't have to continuously be transferring money out of Ally every month, I just put a chunk of change that'll last me a little while in my readily accessible account, and then eventually I'll do a bigger transfer of another 160 or so later on when I need to replenish the short-term account. So for now, these 2 accounts are in PNC. I'm not adding any more money to this short-term account. So right now I had the 160 in February that came from my tax return, and then my Lyft and Uber is getting about $15 every month. So far I've only made the one transaction in January. So I put in the $15 or $14, I think it was in January, and then I deducted $6.50, but otherwise I've added $15 every month. So right now I have my short-term sinking fund at 160 and the Lyft and Uber sinking fund is at $37.50. Meaning together in my PNC reserve account I have $197.50 for both those funds. This bigger portion in green is for like my more longer term kind of sinking funds. These are all in one Ally account called sinking funds. And I have my fund money, which I deposited $875 in February. Don't anticipate adding any more money into that. That again was the balance of my tax return. My clothing sinking fund, I did a big shopping haul in January and I spent like $120 there. But I haven't spent anything yet, so I have 20 from February and 20 in March. Um, yeah, so right now it's $40 allocated to that. My family and gifts, 15 for the last 3 months, so right now I have 45. Haven't made any deductions. Yeah, even though it says Lupita's birthday, I don't think I took money from Lupita's birthday from the sinking fund just because I had bought that gift before I started my budget, so that's why it's not necessarily included in here. So I'm assuming that's why this should not be even in here. Interesting. My travel sinking fund is $100 a month, so far I've put $100 every month, so I have $300 in there. And then my moving sinking fund, the amount for this fund varies because any income I make working in my after school goes to this sinking fund. So, some weeks I make a little more, some weeks I make a little bit less, but anything that is on top of my base salary, I consider that to be my income from after school. So that goes into this moving sinking fund. So in January I deposited $396, February I deposited $577, March I anticipate depositing a full $390 as well, maybe $1 or so less than that, but that should be just about right. It should be just about what was happening in January. So that means altogether by the end of March I'll have $1,363.57 towards my moving sinking fund, which is right on track with where I need to be. My buy a home fund, actually, I bumped up this to $950 a month. So it used to be $800. So in February I was able to put $800. January I had some funky things going on with an electric bill that was about $400. So I could only allocate $321 in January. But March, this is the first month I should be able to put a complete $950 in there. So far I've put in $450, and my next check I really should be able to put in $500. I'm willing to reduce like my groceries or eating out budget just to make sure I put in a full $500, just because I want to get into a good habit of that, because I know it's feasible with my budget. So to pay myself first, so to speak, I'm going to make sure that $500 gets in there for my second paycheck in March. So for that account right now I have $2,071. And then my emergency fund, that's my 6 months of income. I started off the year with $36.29. I didn't make any deposits in January, but in February I was able to make two deposits. The small one was of $90. I took that from my tax return. And then finally I was able to take out some money I had in a general investing account in Betterment that I created by accident. I thought I was creating a Roth IRA, but I don't want to invest this emergency fund. I want to make sure it's just readily available for any emergency that would come up. So I waited until I recouped any losses I had towards the end of 2018, and once I recouped it and I had about $52.80 back in my account, I deducted it, and that landed back into my sinking fund in February. So right now I have $9,005 as my emergency fund, which is about $1,500 a month, which is just on track with what I spend. So yeah, so for March there should be no more contributions to that. So that is where my sinking funds are right now. Like I said, my PNC account has $197 for these two sinking funds. The Ally account for sinking funds has $2,593, and that is all 5 of these. So for this account I have to be very aware of where that money is and what money is allocated to each category, so I'm not like spending my gift money when I'm buying too many clothes or something like that. So that's really why I like the color coding here, and I like tracking my deposits and my deductions. My down payment sinking fund, the only money that's in there is just the down payment sinking fund, just because I don't want any problems with taking out money that belongs to this sinking fund, because I'm trying to buy something from another sinking fund. So I'm happy to have that separate, and also I anticipate that one being the most consistent. I don't always anticipate needing a moving sinking fund, but I assume I'll always need buying a home sinking fund, at least for the next 5 to 7 years. And then of course my emergency sinking fund, I want that completely separate, or my emergency fund separate completely, and that's in the light pink here. So that's still $9,000, right? So total in savings, if I add up these, no, sorry, all of these, when I add up all the sinking funds, I have $4,862.07 that I have been able to save from the beginning of this year. And I keep it separate, of course, from my emergency fund, because that's money I honestly had since last year, so I don't even consider that to be savings from this year. But yeah, that's how things are going so far with the sinking funds. I haven't needed to use them too much. I've been able to allocate money from like unexpected income or things like that for any purchases I want to make, which I'm happy to do. I really want to use these sinking funds for like a random month in, like, say June, where I want to buy a gift for my friend whose birthday is in July. I want to make sure I'm not going into my regular budget to take money out for that, because in my regular budget, I'm not at a zero-based budget, but I'm fairly close. So I don't want anything crazy to happen when these actually expected expenses come up. So that's why I'm happy to have this, even if I haven't been necessarily utilizing it yet. It's only been a couple months, and these are, longer-ish term things. I do think I'll probably be taking some money out of this closing sinking fund, probably all of it, just because I need some new boots. And I thought I could wait until like maybe next winter, like September, so I will have accumulated more money. However, the boots I'm wearing right now are just like on its last limb, and winter, it seems like in New York City, does not want to end. And I need my boots, so I'm gonna take this 40, probably take I'll look at my budget and see if I can allocate any money that I'm not using, like money specifically for like groceries and eating out. Um, in the past couple months, I've been fairly low on those categories. So if I do my meal plan for next week, this week, or like today, I can see about how much wiggle room I have. So I'm hoping to spend about $60 to $70 on some new boots. And if I can't pull that much, then I'll just take the 40 and I'll buy like a pair of boots on sale that may not be the best quality, but they'll last me until like September, when I can buy like a more expensive pair of boots that'll last me for like a couple of seasons. So we'll see with that. I'm gonna stop talking now. That is pretty much it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Um, I really like the way I've color coded things and laid it out, so hopefully that inspires you if you're tracking your sinking funds electronically, like online, or even on paper. Hopefully that'll give you an idea about how to keep things on track, especially if you have several different accounts. So yeah, you guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in keeping track of my current journey to plan and save my way through 2019, feel free to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And that's all for now, guys. Bye.